Hello and welcome to our next segment reading of the Asatru Edda. I am Asgard and today's chapter, entitled Nanna, is actually a story of a love triangle amongst two brothers and this beautiful goddess. Baldr first, and then his brother Höðr, both desired the hand of Nanna in marriage, and this chapter talks about that tale. Now it happened that Baldr, son of Odin, was stirred at the sight of Nanna bathing, and then was gripped by an unbound passion. The sheen of her graceful body inflamed him, and her manifest charms pierced his heart. For there are no stronger incitement to lust than beauty. Baldr went to Mani and demanded his daughter Nanna's hand. Baldr and Nanna were united and loved each other greatly. Höðr wished that he could have a wife like her, as beautiful and as affectionate as she was. But Höðr alone would never have come up with this evil idea of taking Nanna for himself. One morning, Höðr traveled on one of his hunts to Jotunheimr, situated in the eastern Jotunheimr, into whose ghastly interior nothing mortal dare tread. He hunted alone there for the whole day, but went astray so that he could not find his way back. Darkness fell, and it looked as if it would be an unpleasant night. He wandered from his path into a mist and came upon the retreat of a certain forest maiden, tall and beautiful to look at. She was a troll woman who rode a wolf with serpents for reins, and she said her name was Gondul or Golveg. She offered to attend him and gave him lodging for the night. She gave him a strong drink that clouded his mind, reawakening his violent, impulsive passions. She spoke of Nanna in such a way as to fan his unconscious desire for her into a raging fire. At the Braggarfol, Höðr bound himself with a vow to possess Nanna, the beloved of his brother Baldr. Gondul gave him a coat of mail as pledge of an agreement between them as a necessity in battle into which his decision would lead him. In the morning, when he woke, he found that the dwelling had vanished and that he was standing alone and unsheltered in the center of a plain beneath the open sky. But the coat of mail he had received proved that the night's conversation had happened and was not just a bad dream. He left Jotunheimr regretting his vow so deeply that he could not face Baldr or return to Valhall, so he wandered through the wild paths to Jotunheimr to join the enemies of the Godin so he could seek to fulfill the promise he had to keep. Baldr and Höðr were once united. Neither would be without the other until they were driven into a frenzy for Nanna. She was destined to be their undoing. Because of that fair maid, neither of them cared for games or joyous days. They could bear nothing else in their minds other than that bright form. The gloomy nights were sad to them. They could not enjoy sweet sleep, but from the anguish rose conflict between the faithful friends. Thereafter, for some time, Höðr bore weapons against his own kindred, because he had made the vow to take Nanna from Baldr by force. Baldr defeated him in battle so that he was forced to flee to his foster father Mani, who gave him sanctuary. A second time, they engaged in a sharp struggle with Höðr and his Jotun army on one side and the Godin on the other, which terminated when Höðr fled. When Sleipnir discovered that Höðr had acquired the Högnifoga, he took up arms against him as well in order to secure his family's treasure. But he was killed in this conflict by Höðr's bow and was set upon the pyre by Höðr, built from his ship. then attended with handsome Helfor rites. Not only did Höðr consign his ashes to a fine burial mound as befitting him, but beyond this respectfully honored him with abundant ritual. In doing so, he valiantly paid tribute to his slain foster brother. Then, one day, Höðr left the Jotunheimr and began wandering through the forest to find Baldr. Then his brother appeared before him. Baldr said, "You are welcome, Höðr. What new tidings can you give since we last met? Why have you left Asgard, prince, and now have come alone to find me?" Höðr said, "I am guilty of a much greater crime. I have chosen a royal daughter, your bride, at the Bragarful." Baldr responded, "Do not accuse yourself. The words uttered by us both while drinking will prove true. I have foreseen that I shall die soon. Then may such befall, so must it be." Höðr responded, "You said, Baldr, that Höðr well deserved great gifts from you and your goodwill. It would seem better to redden your sword than to grant peace to your foes." Baldr first conquered his brother with weapons, but with goodness and kindness in the end. He escorted his brother back to Asgard, where he forgave, excused, and consoled him. Höðr was welcomed back into Asgard, and to appease the situation between him and Baldr, their father Odin came to Höðr and offered him the chance at a bride as good as Nanna. He said to him, "Bind the gold rings together, Höðr. It is not kingly to harbor fear. I know a maid, there is none so fair, rich in gold, if you can get to her. Green are the paths that lead to Hogni, and his orlog shows the way to the wanderer. The folk king has a fair daughter which you may buy as a bride, Höðr. A hall stands high on Heidarfjord. It is encircled with Ofdokum Ognar Lijoma. Wise craftsmen once made it out of a flaming light of the flood. A battle maid sleeps on the mountain, Vafrologar blaze about her. Igor Odin pricked her from the Svenbjorn, for she felled the fighter he wished to save. There you may see the helmed maiden who rode forth from the flight on the Vingskolnir. The victory bringer shall not break her sleep, yet you shall, Höðr, so the Norner have set. Then Odin let his son borrow Sleipnir, so he could ride forth on his quest. Thank you for sitting in on this next segment reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Please support the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe to catch all of our new content. Thank you again for listening in. We'll see you on the next segment.